Welcome to Table Talk. We are happy to have you with us. Today I have with me VJ and Anna. VJ just snuck in to bring me a quilt. She finished binding for me and I said, have a seat, VJ.
We gave her a surprise.
I'm going home to clean toilets.
And because I was going to show a couple of VJ's gorgeous quilts, so I thought she might as well be here to get the glory because they are so beautiful. So we're happy to have you with us today. We'll kind of start with this one we have on the table. So I'll just pick up these sides a little bit. This is Barton Cottage. And if you watched our YouTube where Holly and I were at the Riley Blake offices, this was hanging behind us. Well, another version of this. This is Holly's that she did, and the one there was Riley Blake's. But so this is a fun kit. This was designed by my sister Holly, and it's Barton Cottage from Jane Austen's, and just beautiful. And quilted by Chelsea Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come in, you need to check out the quilting because it's different in it's just beautiful quilting. She does amazing work.
She does.
So,
I love everything.
yeah, she does amazing custom. We have a couple other quilts to show.
Is this the kit for this?
So that is the kit. So we have VJ was busy. She brought in
I
two.
finally have been getting something done.
Oh,
Finally.
these are not small quilts that VJ has done here.
This is a good size quilt. I
Yeah.
think it finishes at about 66 by 72.
Yeah.
So it is it's a good size quilt.
Yeah. This is heartstrings, right?
Yes, it is. And it's, the fabric is by Basic Gray.
And it's called
It's
Nutmeg.
called Nutmeg.
Mhm. And it uses a layer cake and then some yardage and
Right. And it's
fun.
It's an interesting quilt to put together. So
Yeah.
It is.
Well, these are tiny little strips.
They are.
What,
They
finish
just
half
finish
inch?
a half an inch.
Yeah.
So use
pretty.
your 1/4 inch foot.
Yep.
Make sure you've got, sewing straight there. But
Yeah.
And this was quilted by Karen,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, Karen, and I like the thread choice on this.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That was a challenge. I didn't know what to use because you don't want it to be that's all you see.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
then
But
you want it to blend,
you've got
too.
dark and then you've got your lighters and you don't want to, so yeah, but that's
Right.
really pretty.
But Karen suggested this lighter blue color, and I think it worked out really well.
did.
So
That's
How are
beautiful.
the hearts done? Do you cut both of those half?
So you're doing half.
So you're probably using rectangles.
yeah, you use rectangles, and then you just do that stitch and flip method where you have your little square on here, sew along here, and flip it over, and you do that for all those points.
Okay.
And so I did put some special instructions in the kit because
Here.
I just put a little paragraph in there that I printed up because if you cut it out like the instructions tell you to do, you're going to have, like on this one, this has got the triangles. And I think you want those, or they're really not triangles. What are those
Diamonds.
called? Diamonds, sorry. You have those diamonds, the way they tell you to cut it, you would have the diamonds on your big heart going the right way, and then the little heart would be going opposite. And so I put some instructions in there. Okay, cut it this way so you're going to have everything going the right direction.
Oh.
Now, for some of you, it may not bother you, but for this person, it but you know how I am.
Yep, so we have those kits, and they've got all that you need for your front and binding, and your pattern is included as well.
Right.
Okay, now this one we're gonna need to stand up for. I'll stand up here.
Is it big?
It is.
Yeah,
This
and we're
is
gonna
a-
stand behind VJ so VJ can get the glory from this, so.
This
This
is
is
a really
beautiful.
big quilt. It's actually
Oh.
85-inch square, and it is a laundry basket pattern. The line of fabric is by Jerry Robinson. It's Midnight Garden, and it's just a triple Irish chain. And this is a not a quilt in an afternoon, I will just say. So it does take quite a little bit of time. I think there's about it is strip piece, but if you actually cut every piece individually, it'd be about 3,600 pieces in the quilt.
Oh.
So it's
Chelsea quilted
Yeah,
this one
this
too.
is
Chelsea
by
quilted this.
Chelsea.
Yeah, and she did just really a lovely job. She had it laying all out in her little quilt room when I went over, and I mean, it just, the quilting just is gorgeous on it.
So beautiful.
But it's, the kits are not quite done. I have got everything cut, I just need to assemble. And so, they will be available later this week, probably, or the first of next week, I would think, no later than that. So I think I was just really pleased.
It's so
with it.
pretty,
Really
so
pleased.
pretty.
So,
Yeah, that's not a quick sew.
no.
I think from our experience there, we start to see people embracing the intricate.
Yeah, I mean, some people want that quick project.
Yes.
And there's the time, but sometimes you want a challenge.
And
Sometimes
like,
you want-
it's not hard, it's just like
No,
time
it's not hard.
consuming.
It does take time though, and to me, that's an heirloom quilt.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
my daughter, who's very picky, said that is a quilt she really would like to
Yeah.
have. So she's planning on just having somebody come in and go through my stuff when I and she doesn't care about all of my fabric or anything, but
But
one
that one
said
she's gonna
she
have her
would-
eye
She
on.
would like to have. So anyway,
So you better write her name on it already.
I guess I had better put a label on it.
It's only one she wants from all of them.
My
Out of the
husband,
300.
my husband and his brother laugh. We'll be at his parents' house or something. And they'll be like, "Have you got your Post-it note on that?" Or on the guns that his dad owns. And different things. They put their little name on it with a Post-it note, so they know who it goes to. I'm like, you don't talk about those things.
But you do.
Yeah, but they do. So.
Should we let you go?
Sure, I can head on home and.
Thank you for letting
you.
us hijack you and join us for a bit.
I've been working a lot, but I only have this to show.
Oh, and it doesn't. What we show has nothing to do with how
with
hard
what
we
we
work.
do.
That's for sure.
So-
Because I have nothing to show
Yeah,
except for
I
this little
know.
thing here, and I've been like craziness.
I've been sewing every day, and
Yeah.
that's what I brought.
Sometimes it's finishes, and sometimes it's just.
So this, you guys probably have seen those bags that people have stitched stuff. We decided to use Lori Holt's pattern, and luckily it did fit. And after I stitched it, I came up with a couple other ideas how to do it to look better. And one of the things is like you can either like eliminate this block that says quilt and do it on the other side and spread those three more evenly.
Mm-hmm.
Or one thing that it really kind of bothers me, it's like how close the spacing between this is.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of did it in order, cut, sew, and press. But actually quilt, even though the quilt is completed after, it can be on the first, and that will help with the spacing. So that's up to you guys how you want to do it if you decide to do this.
You could even just do one block
Yeah, and you can
and
like
not with words or anything. You
yeah,
could just do
yeah,
the
you can
sewing
just
machine
pick
or,
you can pick one, but if you want to do all of them, you either can put the quilt on front or just put the quilt on the other side and spread the three on the front. A tip for this, which I have had this project in my house since last summer, and what it really like kind of stopped me from doing it, it's counting. Like, where is the center? How do I start it? And I decided to do 2 over 2 with a 4-strand thread. I started from the end, and I did a row, not this one, but I did a row with just the one-way loops. And then every 10 loop, I did the X. It was easy to count. It was easy to find my center.
That's what you used for
Yeah.
the count. Yeah, that's good.
And just stitch that. It's so easy to unpick too. So you can either cut it or, unpick it with your needle. It's like, it was no issue unpicking it at all. So I would suggest stitch a row with every 10th stitch being an X, and that will help you decide how you want to position it.
Okay, you also did something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, tell them what you did.
I unpicked the side, so you can, this back, it's easy to flip and stuff, so I just unpicked one of the sides. You can unpick both. I was just like, unpick one of it and then just stitched it on my sewing machine. which I didn't even slow down or anything. This is so soft
Yeah,
that it wasn't an issue at all. So
but that opened it up and made it
yeah,
easier to stitch on.
it was much easier to stitch on.
Oh.
And you can just, these bags come in, we've got them in a denim color and kind of a mint.
Mint.
Yeah,
And then this, and a green.
Don't remember what.
it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, they're
They're called
multiple.
Mad for Plaid bags. I think Mad for Plaid, I think.
Yep.
I also, goes along with our heart quilt. We got a new supply of our heart dough bowl kit, our
They're so
dough bowls
cute.
back in. So just wanted to let you know we have these back in stock. And then this is what has kept me busy, just prepping for the. So this is shipping out today. So when this airs, everybody should be getting their kits in the mail. So this times comes with your little postcard, fabric to make 2, or if you're careful on how you cut them, you can get 3 eggs out of the fabric, and then your little roll.
So cute.
And so the pattern for making the eggs and the fabric is in your kit. There are 3 sizes of eggs on the pattern, and I did the small, so that it would fit nicely in
So
the bowl.
adorable.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that is done.
I'm going to some public service announcement time.
Okay.
Okay. So for April 22nd, we're going to have Moonlight Stitchers.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yes. So Moonlight Stitchers on the 22nd of April.
Yes.
So we usually do Sundown Stitchers,
Mm-hmm.
which is because we stitch till the sun goes down. Well, Moonlight Stitches is we're stitching long after the sun goes down.
Yes.
So we will be starting at 6 o'clock and going until 11 o'clock.
Are we still gonna have the Friday one, or
We
just
still having Fridays.
So that will still be the
So we're
second
having one
Friday.
on the second Friday. Is it the 12th?
I think it's 12 or 13.
So we're doing it on a Friday, but it's
And then the next
extended.
time it's, no.
Oh no! So
on
we're gonna
the-
have 2 in April.
Yes, we're gonna have 2 in April.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
we'll check that for
Let
sure,
me know.
but the 22nd will be fun. So
Yeah.
from 6 to 11, and they have a lot of fun. I'm gonna be at that one. Fridays, a lot of times I'm watching Leo.
Okay.
So
that's
I'm not
why.
able to be here for Sundown because I have a hard time saying no to that little munchkin.
Yeah, you
I know.
cannot.
And then you brought him once, and then he's so cute, but he's
But
like
he
probably
does not
really
like
nervous.
people.
Yeah.
He's not a people person.
Yeah.
He's not a people
We
person.
understand.
And he just wanted to hide in the back, behind the curtain, you know?
Nothing wrong with that.
He was back there just
I
like,
want to hide in the back sometimes.
I was telling Shannon the other day. So when I opened the store, 26 years ago, I really am an introvert. Being in front of people and is hard. It's easier now, but when we first opened, it's almost like as much of an introvert as I was then, I felt like I was on display and had to be up and all the time.
Yeah.
And I was the only employee. And at that time we were open 7 days a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we weren't closed on Sunday. We were open 7 days a week,
Oh wow.
and I was the only employee. And I would sometimes put a sign on the door, I'll be back in a few, in 20 minutes or whatever.
Oh.
And I'd lock the door and I'd go sit behind the counter where I couldn't be seen from the door. And I'd just sit on the ground and I just needed that time
And to collect yourself.
to collect myself before I could get back up and smile. But it's easier for me now. Over time you get
Yeah.
better at that. But at first, it was so hard.
And
And
you
it's-
need that time for
It
yourself.
still is hard for me to talk about my things I design, or
Yeah.
when I would go to markets for Quilt Market or Cross Stitch Market and have a booth in there, I always needed to have one of my sisters in the booth with me or my mom, because
or a friend. It's
because
always nice.
they are so much better at selling me than I am, because I'm just like, I don't know, I hope this is okay, But anyway.
But also, when you make stuff, you want to show it to people, but then you don't want to come up or look at me.
Yeah,
So
and what if they don't like
Yeah.
it? And
But I'm so glad I have friends that I even
Uh-huh.
just starting the project, I can send them what I'm doing and
Yeah.
they'll be excited for
Yep.
me. And it's and I can show them 10 pictures or whatever
Yeah.
through my process, and they'll be as excited as like, you know, my husband, he likes what I do and supports me 100%, but he's
But
like,
he doesn't.
They
I
don't get
already
it the
seen
same.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't you already show that? But it's different now. See, I did this now. You know,
Yeah, so it's, yeah.
We all need a cheerleader, right?
Yep.
Yes, we do.
We do. Yeah.
So that's our PSA. April 22nd, be here.
Yeah. And another where I have like so many points. Sorry.
Okay.
So Shop Hop and Sandy's already designing for it.
I am designing the quilt.
Yeah.
It will be done this month, but we won't show it till the start of Shop Hop.
No. So if you're booking your ticket to come to Utah, I know some people come
Yep.
for this trip. It's from May 5th to 13th.
Yep.
We're closed on Sunday. All of the stores
Yeah,
are closed.
May 5th through the 13th. Everyone's closed on Sunday, but you have a long time to get to all the shops.
Yeah.
I really liked it
saw
last year.
there is a
It was
new store
more relaxed.
added.
Yeah, Bertha and Beulah's.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
So we have a
but-
new store that has joined. If you go onto Facebook and look up Utah Shop Hop, that's our Facebook page. Today, I think, or may have been yesterday, they spotlighted Bertha and Beulah's. So they'll be showing little snippets of each
were
of the
they?
stores.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah. So we'll have that on our Facebook page. So if you follow that, I'll have some little tips that we're going to send out for when you're shop hopping
Oh.
with our post. But
Okay.
so
So, and then I just want to announce again that we're not taking more spots.
right,
I
we're not
think that's
taking more
prob-
signups for the bulk kit club, and like I've always said, I hate to say no. So that's hard, but logistically, with the number of people we have kitting them, sewing them, we can't do more than we're doing right now.
It has been keeping us busy for the whole month.
Yeah.
Almost every month. So
Well, yeah,
far.
you are done and you jump to the next one.
We just jump onto the
Yes.
next one, and it's just so I won't be able to add more right now.
Yeah.
But if you follow us on social media, or if you go onto our website and sign up for our newsletter, if I am able to do something different, I will send out a notice that way.
Yeah.
So
And then like
I've got some things I'm trying to work through,
Yeah.
but we won't be adding to the club.
But yeah, and for that, we're also saying that the parents might be coming out. We're still trying to decide on certain points.
Yeah, that's
There
what
are-
we're trying to decide. I wasn't going to release the patterns till the next year, but we are daily getting so many requests. So I said,
And that takes time too to
And that- yeah.
answer out those
I said,
requests.
yeah, Shannon's busy on the phone or on the emails. I told them, just let me get through shipping
first.
April's today, then decisions will be made. So,
Yeah. And then so if you follow us on our Facebook group, the crusted pine needles stitchers, I think.
Yeah.
There are the most questions come from that group. So
Yeah.
if you follow us there, we will announce there and on our social media as
Yeah.
well. So don't worry, we will keep you in the know.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Yep.
Any other announcements or anything, Emerald?
Nope.
So I'm excited for Shop Hop. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's
So,
a fun thing this year.
Yeah, the theme is Forgotten Holidays. So it's those weird days of like Lost Sock Day. You know, there's every day of the year.
Well,
there
every-
is something.
It's something, and
Some
some,
national-
days are multiple things for
Yes,
the day
right.
if you look into it. It's
And our holiday that we're celebrating is Mad Hatter's Day. So
we're all mad.
That's
we're all mad here.
You have to be.
fun.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. We're just, I've been pinning things and just coming up with all kinds of ideas. So
And
we'll
then-
see what comes forward.
Sometimes we throw some surprise, but we don't know. We were not giving up. So
Yeah. We'll just have
come
to see
check
what
it out.
happens.
Yeah.
Check it out. And all the stores, later this month, we'll have the flyers ready, posters in all the shops, and you'll be able to see which stores are which holidays. So you can get
Okay.
excited. And just as a reminder, you do not need a passport.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to purchase a passport.
Yeah.
But you still get a free pattern at each shop. Everybody's busy designing their quilts. We have to have them done by the end of this month. And asked me if VJ was bringing, I said, oh, VJ's bringing in a quilt she bound for me. And she says, "Oh, is it your shop hop quilt?" I said, "Have you lost your mind?"
Wait, Anna asked that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not due
I'm hopeful.
for a couple weeks. Do you think I've got that done? No.
No, I'm
That's
the
why she
same
was
way.
surprised.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's why I don't hand bind my quilts
Yep.
because I usually need them like the day before I'm working on them.
Well, and
so
Holly had loaned me the Barton Cottage quilt, and she had done 3 sides
yeah,
when she was at my mom's the other night. She's like, "Okay, Sandy, I've got to go. I'm going to leave this, finish binding it." Well, I've been busy getting the kits ready to go. And so I brought it in yesterday to the store, and I thought, if it's slow in the store, I'm going to ask VJ to sit down and bind
it's
this
not
for me.
Slow.
But it wasn't slow.
Yeah.
So she came upstairs and she said, "Do you want me to take that home?"
Oh,
I think people were done with their
So nice.
resolution, so they're coming back to shop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a busy day. We had a fun lady in from Canada that came in to, we've been holding her kits because she said, "Don't ship them, I'm coming to Utah." So she came in yesterday and picked up some of her kits from the club and did some fun shopping. It was fun to see her.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So, anything else now, Emerald?
I was thinking, oh yeah, so just a tip I want to let them know. I know like a lot of people drive in shop hop with their friends, a group of friends, and then like sometimes people ask us for maps, and then that can be confusing still. If you want to, you can go on shop hop's website. You just pin all those stores on your Google map.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. That's
Yeah.
easier for you. Do that,
Yep.
and then you'll feel more comfortable driving.
But we will have a flyer available in any of the stores that'll have all the stores' addresses, their hashtags that they use, or their,
Okay.
you know, so that, because it's fun to see if people go on the shop hop to have them post
Yeah.
and tag the
Yeah.
stores that they visit.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see what people are enjoying.
Well, and like when I go home, because can't always go, but when I see them, like, oh, I know them. It's
Yeah.
like it's so fun to see. It's
Oh.
fun to see the people, or like if you saw them at your store, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Oh,
look,
I
they
remember
did
them coming
this,
through.
and I was like, I don't know, it's fun.
That is the
So-
one thing that's hard, is that we work so hard during shop hop, you don't get
Yeah.
out to see the other shops.
That's
but,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
I've done it in the
You've done
past,
some, and this
yeah.
time where it's longer,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
you're not
it
working.
is doable,
Yeah.
you know, you do give some time off, so you still can go, and now it's easier to do it because, it's spread
Yeah.
further out.
And lots of good
But-
prizes, like
Oh.
lots of good prizes. Each store gives away, what, $100 gift basket plus, I think it's a $200 shopping spree. I mean, it's fun. You have
It
lots
is.
more chances to win something of substance because
It's
you
every
enter,
store,
every store is giving
and then
away.
the big price on the end.
Yeah, so just go to the ones that you can.
like.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's still fun to do whether you get to all of them or not, but support them all.
Yeah.
They put a lot of work into it, so.
So, okay, today we're talking about quilting terminology. I know I put you on the hard spot because a lot of them are like abbreviation that you have learned from patterns. But I just want to know, like, since Sandy has been designing since, I don't know, the beginning of the time.
since the dinosaurs,
And
as
like,
I was walking across the plains.
just want to see your experience and if you've seen any changes of those terminology. Like, do you feel like patterns nowadays are easier to read, easier to understand?
I think that still depends on the
Depends
designer.
on the designer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
It's very
Because we
dependent.
all, like, I have a friend and I love her to death, but we're like, we'll talk about the same thing, but we're going to be saying it
Different
so
way.
differently
Yeah.
that we end up arguing until we get us like, oh,
We are,
yeah, now
that's-
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's certain terms that are just universal.
Yeah,
WOF,
with the fabric.
with the fabric.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes designers will put just WOF, and some of them will put
Yeah,
somewhere
they
in
will
there.
have a legend in the beginning,
that it
Yeah.
means
so you
work
can
with the
refer.
fabric. But
Okay.
And
traditionally, and unless a pattern states otherwise, quilting, it's a 1/4-inch seam,
yeah,
universal. So,
it is.
um,
And there is right sides together, which it will
Yeah.
be WR.
or RST, is that right?
Yes.
RST, yeah,
Or
right
wrong
sides
sides
together.
together. Yes.
Or W,
WST.
Yeah.
Yes.
WST for wrong side
Yeah.
together.
I saw that a lot when I'm sewing bags too.
Yeah.
And then some of them will label in the front page, the first page. When I say this means this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Little legend.
and that's
That
helpful
helps.
because I can't necessarily recall which ones, but sometimes I will see abbreviation. I'm like,
What does that mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I've been quilting and
Yep.
and still sometimes like, what do you say here? But
Well, and sometimes like we'll have Australian designers and we'll carry their patterns and they will say you need a piece of wadding. And
What
people
is
are like,
that?
what is wadding?
batting.
But it's batting.
Oh.
They call it wadding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Google is your friend.
Yes.
But then, like, if you get, I guess you can Google what's wadding.
What is wadding?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
But even
But-
today, and I didn't research it, I was watching a Missouri Star video and she was saying fusible batting, but I don't think there's really a fusible batting. I think she was referring to the fusible fleece.
Fleece.
yeah, it's called
Which-
fusible fleece. But
it-
if they say fusible batting,
Yeah,
It's probably
and
the
it's
same
like,
texture.
but if you're like literal with your words, you're gonna
Yeah.
be searching for fusible
for
batting.
fusible batting, and you're not going to find it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
So I don't know.
So do you remember, like, when you first start quilting, how did you figure out all these terms or just different words, like flying
Having a-
geese,
Yeah.
nesting seams? How do you even like figure this out?
Okay, so for me, like you can tell, I'm not from here originally.
No? I thought that was a Texas accent.
Well,
But like even when growing up, we had like German magazines, and they don't come translated.
Yeah.
But I would like some stuff, and with my grandma, I will buy them, and we'll just kind of not translate them, but by the pictures and stuff,
Yes.
we'll just
Oh.
make it up. So, and when I came here, I kind of quilting. I started. Well, I've always been interested in sewing, and in Bulgaria I sewed more clothing, and here I start quilting. But Google, it's just like whenever I didn't know what to do, I'll Google search it, and there's like so many videos and so many different ways to do things. So I will watch until it's like, okay, I like this method better. That makes sense in my head how it's supposed to be. And that's how I pretty much learned, and then start having quilting friends, you know.
The quilting community
Yes.
is really good to share knowledge.
Yes.
So if you're part of our cross stitch Facebook group or something, and you have a cross stitch question, if you put it out there on the group page, people want to help. They
Yeah.
want to reach out and and help. But so it's always helpful to have a quilting friend. If you're not lucky enough to have a quilting friend, make a quilting friend.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so lucky because I work with you guys.
Yeah.
And then I can just go to someone when I'm in the store. Hey, what does this pattern mean? You know, like, and then you will explain to
Right.
me.
And that is the thing that you get in your local quilt shops.
Yes.
You know, your independent owned local quilt shops. That's the kind of service you get.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that you can't always get when you go to Joann's, let's say. And I shouldn't say that name.
No,
When you go to a big box store and they only have certain things that they can do. You know, they're busy at the cutting table, whatever. They can't always share that kind of they may not even know that. You know, they're trained in
Sometimes
cutting
they cannot-
fabric.
Yeah, sometimes
you
they
know.
cannot hire somebody who already
Right.
know.
Right. And so it's
I
nice
always complain to Sandy. I even did it on Monday because we have customers and it's like we love them, but sometimes they come with a project and it's like, I want to make a queen size quilt and I want to do like have squares. How much fabric do I need? And
it
I'm
really
like,
depends.
And it's
Yeah.
like so hard because
it's hard.
you are then if they don't have enough, then they're gonna not be happy with
And
you.
it's like I know how
so
to
hard.
do it. I do know how to do it, but being put on the spot
Yeah, it can be hard.
and like then you're stressing because you're doing it for somebody else and stuff. But at the same time, with that being said, if you come to a store like that, if we have the knowledge, it doesn't matter how much we dislike it,
We will help.
we will help.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's hard, and
It's and you stressing because
You're stressing
you're
'cause
doing
you
it for
don't-
somebody else.
yeah.
And like I'm not professional. I don't, I do it all the time for myself, but at the same time, if I make a mistake, I only answer to myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, and people do expect like when they come here that we actually really do
know what you're talking
it.
about. Yeah.
And
Like you're ready to already have the number.
Yeah.
but and the same time, when even pattern designers who do that, they don't do it like in a half an hour.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they take weeks, sometimes months, to figure out how much yardage you need
Yeah.
for what.
Because it really depends on your design. It depends on how you want it to look. There are certain cuts that just cannot make the way you want it to look, right?
There is
Maybe we
a
can
little
talk
sheet
about that.
I've seen online where how many squares can you get from a fat quarter, and it tells you how many 1-inch squares, how many 2-inch, 2.5, 3, and it'll tell you how many squares you can get for a fat quarter. And but those are kind of fun tips to know.
And I would just say, like, it would be easier if next time somebody who just starting to dabble into this can find a picture even before they come to approach to you about this kind of question. That
Well,
would be
even
easier.
with the picture, you still have to figure out this.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
There are
Sometimes
times,
might be better, like when you come and ask for that, and it's like, I'll go take and get lunch, and I'll be back later.
Yeah.
But it's
Sometimes
like
you need some time to figure that all out.
but
we're
like, we're always
happy
to
to help. And that's what you get when you go to your local quilt shop.
Yeah.
Or your local
if we have the
cross-stitch
knowledge,
shop. If they've got the knowledge, they want to share. They
Yes.
want to help.
Usually a lot of quilters will work in local quilt shop in Utah.
Yeah.
I would say that. So the
The people in the quilt shops are in there not because they're making a lot of money.
No.
I'll tell you that right now. They're in there because they
We
love
love.
what we do. We love to sew. We love to share that.
So early in our marriage, I always been like sewing, not always quilting, but always since I was itty bitty, I was stitching, I was sewing. So it's part of me. So when I came here to the States, I have the language barrier. At the beginning, I wasn't even driving, but so like I depended on my husband a lot. And one day I just had to tell him, like, it was, I can't, and now I'm saying it wrong, but I just had to tell him, and it's like, it's part of me. I can't explain it, but it's part of me. It's like, it's me. If I don't have that, I don't know who I am.
Yeah, it's so part. Yeah.
And then one day I came home and I had a serger and a little machine. They were Kenmore, nothing fancy, but for me it was. And now I have it stored. I don't ever use it, but I can't get rid of it because it's sentimental to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun to know.
Well, and that's the thing, creating, there's something that feeds us to take
Yes.
something and make something beautiful out of it.
Yeah.
There's just,
It's just, I don't know, the
Something born in us
creating, it's like, I don't know.
I think it's the same with cooking, with gardening. It's
Yeah.
beautifying
Yes.
something.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing both of your quilting stories. I don't have so long of my story, but it's good to
What
know
my
yours.
early memories of fabric are from getting in trouble.
Oh, okay.
My mom always sewed. Now, my mom sewed out of necessity because we had a lot of kids. And back then, you could sew clothing for your children, and
And it was cheaper
it was
than
cheaper
buying.
than buying it.
Yep.
It's
Not nowadays.
not nowadays usually.
No.
But I would go into her sewing cupboard, and I wanted to create. I wanted to do something, and I would take a piece of fabric out, and I would just cut a chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a piece, and my mom would go to get her fabric, and there would be just a chunk cut out of it. And it'd be Sandra.
And she knows who to call.
She knew who to call. Wasn't Kathy. It was Sandra. It was me. I was probably wanting to make something for my doll or something, but
Yep.
Sandy's blood. I was seeing her blood. So, talk about all these terminologies. Can you list out some common abbreviation that we have seen? Okay, yesterday.
You tell me, because you send us a list.
Yeah, I did. So I have HTS, WOF, QST, RST, WST, SA, and
SA, seam allowance.
seam allowance.
okay.
yes. And okay.
HST,
Half
half square triangle.
Okay.
But what is the QS?
Is that a quarter square?
Quarter square
Oh,
triangle.
okay. Yeah,
It's
without
another
seeing
thing.
it, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
And RST and WST we already mentioned.
Yeah,
right
right
side
sides
together.
together. Wrong
Wrong
side
side
together.
together. And then some common terms that I learned yesterday, but then I don't really know like. And so when do you use? There is another term called a scant quarter inch.
Okay, scant quarter inch. Do you use a scant or do you quarter?
I
Scant means like slightly off.
yeah.
Yeah, it means slightly smaller.
Try, because the way I
Like a-
sew my box almost never turn like the 10.5 or the 12.5. So I try, but I'm not as consistent like VJ usually is. And
So it's like a matter of a scant is like just a thread.
yeah. And
That will-
sometimes that
needle
depends
cut
also on the thickness of your thread
Your
too.
thread. Yeah.
Because, and that's why it's always good to do a test book before you start, so to see how much, but just the thickness of the thread and flipping your fabric, that eats, even if it's like not 1/8 of an inch, but even if it's like a millimeter away, it just takes. And if you, depending on how many seams you have, it just that little by
Yeah.
little it will shrink.
If you've got a block that's a 16 patch, let's say,
Yeah.
and those 16 patches, that's a lot of seams that if you're off just a little bit,
And then
then by the
gonna
time it's
add-
finished, it makes a big difference.
Yes.
And some patterns will call specifically for a scant, and if it calls for a scant quarter inch,
then you really
you've got
need
to make sure you do a scant quarter inch, or your block's not going to measure up what they want, what you want
So
it to be.
if the patterns specifically say it, you kind of
If
you want
it
to follow that.
specifies scant quarter inch,
you have to.
you've got to do a scant quarter inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are bindings and borders are things I get confused a lot.
Okay.
Binding borders, backing out the beads.
Yep. So let's flip this over. So on this one, this is the border,
Yes.
is this strip, and then this is the binding,
Yes.
That's the
So,
finishing.
the finishing that just finishes your seam.
Yeah. And then even when I say it, sometimes it's like all mixed up. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah,
There
I
you
even
go.
have like Americans,
Uh-huh.
but they get confused binding and borders, and it's not like that you don't know what it is, but they are
Just use
so
yeah.
They're
kind of
kinda
the
mixed
same.
up.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be like, okay, are we doing a binding or a border?
Yeah.
Because the way they're talking, I know they're saying the wrong term for what they're
Right,
talking.
what they're saying, yeah. And then there's sashing.
Sashing.
Some people sometimes will ask what sashing is.
So what's the difference
So
between border
in this
and
little quilt here, the little bear, there's sashing between each of those squares.
But that's not. Oh, border is
That's not
only
borders,
the
because
outside.
borders are outside.
Oh, okay.
Those are sashing. In between Carrie's broken dishes, there are sashing and there are cornerstones.
So I think sashing, it can be said that the things that frame your blocks,
Frame your
Yeah.
blocks.
that's the sashing, and then the outer one
Is the
is your
border.
border, yeah.
Okay. What's a grain and then what's a straight of grain?
The
like when
grain,
you're
okay.
cutting.
no grain.
Yep.
I
It's
don't, does
Grain goes right with this exactly parallel, or what's the other term?
I know we should have asked VJ
Horizontal.
about that.
Horizontal, or it's where your
But I don't think
Salvage.
that really matters for quilting though.
for quilting
Yeah.
it's not as critical.
Yeah.
In clothing it affects the way
Yeah.
it hangs. But your selvage, it'll stretch differently if you are on a bias.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not going with the grain because that's on the bias. This way, it does not stretch because that is right on grain.
So when
now
you're-
it can be on grain this direction and it can be on grain this direction.
it depends on how they manufacture the fabric.
And so when you're
Yes.
doing clothing and it has that line, the arrow, and it says with the grain, it needs to be, if I was laying out a pattern here and my arrow goes here, that arrow needs to be the same measurement from my salvage edge to here as my, so if you've got that long arrow and you twist your pattern at all, then the arrow's going this way. It's shorter distance here than it is over here, and then that means you're not on grain.
So that arrow just has to parallel this line.
Yes, the same distance at each part on that line needs to be the same.
I don't know.
Yeah. And so, but that's more often on, and sometimes on bags. Doesn't it tell you on bags?
No.
No, you haven't run
I think
across
it's
that?
small enough that they don't really care.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do. So there is mitered corners and
yeah.
butted corners.
People are afraid of those. I don't mind them.
I have no experience with mitered
have-
corners.
I've done them, especially like when I have stripe borders.
Yeah, stripe
And
borders.
I either will put the cornerstone or I'll miter
Miter.
my corners. And
We'll have to do a little thing on mitered corners with BJ.
Have
one
we?
day.
Yeah. Have we ever tried that on
I
any
don't think
of
we've
our
ever done
quilts?
on that on
Okay.
mitered corners, so we'll have BJ.
they're not as common in quilting.
Probably
But if you have a
woodworking.
stripe, or
Yeah.
it makes a difference, and
Yeah,
you've got
and
a
I like to match them
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Okay.
But
sometimes.
yeah, no, it's part of me.
Yep. I think that's all my questions
Okay.
today.
All right.
Yeah, I just saw my research and then.
If you have any questions, leave a comment. Leave a comment anyway. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have any questions, just let us know. Anything you want to see or talk about,
Yeah.
we'd love to hear from you. So we will see you next week.